we're going to go ahead and get started with this morning's call. First, I want to welcome you guys for taking time out of your busy day to our Project Mahma call. And I'm so thankful you guys have all taken the time, and the speakers that we've got today, I'm really excited about. Last night I read their bios and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. So very excited about that. And first, what I want to go over is just some of the things that we're going to cover. First, what Project Mahma is. I'm thinking there might be some brand new people on the call and they might not know what it is. And then we're going to hear from some moms and share their experiences. And then we're also going to hear just a little bit more about Shaklee and what's possible in a Shaklee business. So for those of you who are new and have never heard of Project Mahma before, it stands for Moms at Home Making a Difference and a Lot of Money. Project Mahma is a coalition of families across North America who stay at home with their kids, or they want to stay at home with their kids and earn extra income by helping their family and their lives be healthier. And Shaklee is the #1 natural nutrition company in the U.S., and Project Mahma actually got started into response for a need, the need to actually give families a choice. And I don't know about you guys, but I can remember many years ago when it was just really tough for me to have to pay money out for child care. I always felt like that was something that I wanted to be at home doing. But there's really some of the statistics for nowadays, kids that are staying home or going into child care. For infants, they say it's costing $4,500 to over $1,800 a year for infants to stay in child care. And for a 4-year-old, it's $3,900 to $1,450 to stay in child care. So those are just some huge costs. And so basically you think about that, and then you start looking at the cost for college, and that's kind of where we were in our family. And the average annual tuition fees for a public 4-year college is over $7,000. So when I think about all of that and all the costs and what we have as a choice in Shaklee, and that's why Project Mahma is here, is to offer that choice. So thanks to Shaklee, there's thousands of families across North America that have a choice and are creating better lives with more income, more flexibility, and more time for the things that matter. Now, what I'd like to do is introduce you to some folks that have made a difference. And Elena, if you would like to go ahead and share with everybody a little bit about your Shaklee journey and where you're from, that would be great.
Happy to. Well, thank you, everyone, for having me on this call today. This is a very prestigious group, and I'm very honored to have been asked to be a part of this. Well, you read my bio, and you know that 35 years ago I was in a position of being a single mother and having 2 kids and no child support. And actually I wasn't looking for Shaklee. Shaklee kind of found me. And it found me through my husband at the time wanting to improve his health because he had asthma. And so that journey of using Shaklee products, which I was extremely resistant to because we were in a financial position that was very challenging, and that extra, money going out for Shaklee, it just seemed like it was just way too much. So clearly I didn't understand the value and the benefits of what Shaklee could bring to somebody's health. And I had little idea that Shaklee could possibly be a business. So I plodded along in my teaching career and saw 6 months later my husband's asthma actually go away. And he was throwing away his inhaler and his aspirators, and that was when I said, maybe there is something to this whole, Shaklee health and wellness direction. So I started to use the products.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Cindy?
I was just saying I've been in those shoes before. I hear you. So go ahead.
Well, and I think a lot of people, men and women, have been in these kinds of situations, and you just don't understand the value that this gift could offer you. So basically, one day I happened to walk into the little Shackley store, because you have to remember now, 35 years ago, we didn't have computers and internet and personal websites, so we had little mini stores, and we had to go in and buy the products. And I walked into, or drove up actually, to the little mini store, and there was a car out front, and the car said, "You can earn one too," and it had a Shackley logo in it. And I was driving a little Ford Pinto wagon with two little girls in the back seat, and the back door wired shut. And I walked up into that office, and I said, "What does that mean?" And they sat me down, explained to me that Shackley was an opportunity, like, duh, I hadn't, didn't even think that could be possible. And I walked out, and at that time you had to qualify within a 4-month period to become a Shackley, what they called a supervisor back then. Now we're directors. And walked out, and 4 months later I was one. And I never looked back. That same year I got my bonus car, qualified for my very first trip, and Shackley has been a true gift to me. And I think that not only as I look back now, 35 years, and I see my health journey and all the different challenges that I could have had based on the level of stress of just living in life, I realized that I really had been given a gift of health. I was given the gift of opportunity, and I was given a gift, and I had no idea that this was going to be a part of it, but I was given the gift of growth, personal growth. And that really, I think, probably means as much to me as all the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was the same for me, Elena. That idea that you really grow so much as a person when you're in a business like this. And that is just awesome. So you've been in Shackley 35 years, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. That is so great. Well, you've seen a lot of things come and go and a lot of great things. And now, isn't it amazing the way Shackley is with the technology we have, that it's so simple and so easy to share things?
Well, we're very blessed. I love the legacy of when I first came into Shackley. Dr. Shackley was still alive, and I never met him, but I, was surrounded by his beliefs and surrounded by the essence of what he was really trying to accomplish. And once I understood, and it took me a little bit to go from the mentality of being a one-a-day vitamin kind of gal that my mom used to send me to understanding what was truly the life force of what Shackley could offer and why the products it made such a difference in my husband's life when he went from being an asthmatic since the time he was 2 years old to being symptom-free, why that could happen. So that journey of just understanding the Shackley difference and being given the gift of health that we could offer that was a huge belief shift for me. And the idea of being able to tap into a growth mode where I was going to be challenged to move out of my comfort zones. I was going to be challenged to tap into more of my potential, that if I was going to take on a business, I was just a school teacher. I knew how to teach fourth graders. I didn't know how to teach, adults, but I accepted the challenge. I took on the idea that I wanted to make a difference in people's lives, and I wanted to get everything that Shackley was going to be offering me. And so that was very challenging at times. I'm a work in progress. I was a work in progress then, but I just decided that I was going to really tap into this idea of achieving all that I possibly could be. And there's a term for that. I've learned this term over the years, and it's called efficacy. And efficacy just means that we as human beings, we as women, we as men, can cause things to happen if we really want them to happen. But it has to be of value. It has to be a benefit to us. And when we decide that we want to cause something to happen, and I decided I wanted to cause my business to grow because I was left without child support. I did have a house. I did have a mortgage. And I had to make all that happen. So I took on the challenge, and it was a very strong commitment, to my goals. And I really concentrated on what it was that I was trying to accomplish, and not on myself. Sometimes I think we start doing some self-examination and we beat ourselves up. We're our own worst enemies. But efficacious people really concentrate on the task, and they just attribute failure to inefficient effort, and we figure out how to overcome obstacles, and we bounce back quickly. And I wanted to share that with everyone, because
awesome.
if you're going to be doing a Shaklee business, which I would encourage everyone to do, because it's such a phenomenal opportunity. What Dr. Shaklee gave us as far as the quality of our products and the research and what Roger is now moving us into and the vision that he sees, everyone should have a part-time Shaklee business or a full-time Shaklee business for all of the benefits that it gives you, both personally, professionally, and financially.
And to make a difference in other people's lives. I think
that's right.
That's what's so huge. It comes to me. It's not only making a difference in your life, but when you can make a difference in the lives of others and change their outcome and change their journey.
Yeah.
So,
well, and sometimes our deepest fear, is that we are powerful beyond measure, but then we realize that it frightens us, that we actually do have this potential inside of us. And I had to look at the time where I was in my life. I was 31 years old. I no longer wanted to play small in the world. I really wanted to make a statement. And that statement means that you are being of significance to other people. Shrinking back from your ability to serve the world doesn't really serve anyone, and it certainly didn't serve my daughters and myself. So I want to challenge all of us who, if you're on this call because you're considering doing something like this, don't shrink back and don't play small in the world. You serve the world. You give what you've been destined to give. You let your light shine, because you will be giving other people permission to do the same thing.
It's amazing the power you have when you set your mind to it.